Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Two Girls Talk Transits. Today we're going to review the astrology from September 28th through October 4th, 2025, and we're your host. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Kaleigh.
So welcome back. So we really have this really long quiet stretch. Our last aspect from this podcast was around the 24th when Mars was squaring Pluto, and that's what we left the last podcast on. And we go through essentially 7 days without any planetary interactions until we get to October 1st, which is when Mercury in Libra is going to square Jupiter in Cancer. So interesting kind of play out seems to be like this moment of quiet post the eclipse and post that like Mars Pluto square. So I
Hmm.
do wonder if things kind of settled down. I did see like under the Mars Pluto square, I did forget to talk about this to you before the podcast, but there was like a shooting and an ice facility in Dallas, Texas.
Today?
Multiple, yeah, like early this morning or late last night, like perfectly under the Mars Pluto square.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I think there was some other drama, as there always are. This news cycle is so fast, but that happened, and so I do think there'll be this moment of peace and quiet for a little bit, and then we have Mercury squaring Jupiter, which is our first aspect, which is interesting because think that's like a more stimulating aspect I've been noticing. I think when the moon was squaring Jupiter, when the moon was in Libra, you just was like feeling like there's a lot going on and there's a lot to take in. Like Jupiter in Cancer is giving so much abundance right now. It's giving so much to us that it can be a little overwhelming. And Libra, you're trying to appease Jupiter and appease that and also focus on keeping the peace and the harmony. So seems like a feeling like after the Mars Pluto square and everything that happened under the eclipses that there's this desire to like let's slow down, let's try to just keep the peace and like manage everything and work with what we have. But it can seems like it's gonna get a little bit overwhelming. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I would like in my mind, I'm thinking it would be quite nice to have like a little bit of a slowdown after eclipse energy, just
Yeah.
because, eclipse energy is a lot. And, I think things tend to work like that too, very cyclically. Like we have an upturn of energy and then we, go down a little bit. So I could definitely see that coming into play, especially since we have the absence of all those aspects, for like about a week. That's a pretty long time to go without much really happening. Um, so yeah, I think you had said the word stimulating, right? When you had talked
Mm-hmm.
about this, and I could definitely see that being like something that comes up, just because Mercury is making that aspect, it's kind of stimulating our mental world or, what we're maybe fixating on mentally or with our thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, even though this is a square, Mercury is neutral. It doesn't have like necessarily a malefic or benefic association with it. And Jupiter is a benefic. So I wouldn't say that this would be like an extremely harsh square. I would think it would be more of like, yeah, like bringing in movement with those two planets or just having them interact in some way. There might be a little bit of tension, but nothing like crazy.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just constantly wanting to like work out any problems and make sure that they're
Hmm.
clean, like bring out all the issues that has maybe been sparked with Jupiter and kind of like expanding everything in Cancer and then being like, okay, what are all the issues? We're gonna solve them all. We're gonna play nice and we're gonna get solutions for everything, like, like trying to get everything settled and calm again. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna feel like, yeah.
I could definitely see
Yeah.
that, especially since we have like Mercury and Venus with mutual reception still, like we're still bringing
Right.
in that like Virgo energy of like cleaning things up, like you mentioned. So it's definitely like cleaning things up for the um prospect of like appeasing something or someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think the Virgo energy has been kind of quite nice for like organizing and getting things together. So I think it will like
Mm.
continue to linger and this will be like one of the aspects that kind of carries forward that like cleanup energy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's like just getting clear on your mind too, with the eclipses. Like I know you had talked about a lot of like the eclipses have brought up a lot for your mind and like overthinking. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be a little bit of that today because Jupiter again tends to really expand, but
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of more so like, okay, let's, like rationalize it in a positive way. Let's look at the more optimistic view, things like that that make it feel more comfortable.
That's a good point. Yeah, I wonder if we have like the opportunity, like if we have been feeling very mentally activated, like the opportunity to
Right.
be like, okay, we can have some of these thoughts be positive ones.
Yeah, it's like changing your mind, like which is very Libra. Mercury in Libra is like being indecisive and changing your mind a lot. So there's probably that like
Back and
shifting.
forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. I tend to think though that like Libra has this like capability of like it doesn't just like change its mind a lot. I think it's just like really trying to see this like well-rounded view and trying to like make
yeah.
sure that whatever decision it does end up making is like for the benefit of all. So, um yeah, I think it's just this like it's really I think just searching for clarity and like what is fair for people and um
Yeah.
yeah, like what's the
Like
right thing to do.
once to hear all the opinions on both sides, like, that's from the whole like everything that's been happening in the United States from the eclipse season has brought a lot of divisive opinions out. And so I feel like there's some sort of like, let's hear everybody's piece, but then let's reach some sort of neutral ground. And that's the eclipse cleanup. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I did notice though that Kamala Harris is like becoming quite popular now. Like people are like and not that she wasn't
Oh,
popular
really?
before. Yeah, like I've been noticing like some she I think she just wrote a book and I think she's doing um like a tour, like a speaking tour.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I just Googled her and everything is like cringing. And there's so many news about her book. Oh, wow. That's fascinating.
Yeah, she's a Libra, which made me think
Yeah,
about
let's
her.
say she has a lot of Libra energy, and that would be
Yeah.
like Jupiter squaring. I think she's a late Libra.
Yeah.
Um,
But with
so
yeah.
yeah, she is October 20th. So yeah. So Jupiter's probably like squaring her sun or like past a square to her sun. And interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually like I'm Team Kamala Harris right now. Like, not to get political, but I'm very interested in her, and I think that like I would definitely read her book and see what she's got going on.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
because it seems like it's a lot of people are upset about the book.
Are they? What are they saying? I didn't even.
I don't know. It's just like all the headlines are like, it's embarrassing. Democrats seat the Harris's campaign book.
Oh no. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. I have to read it for myself and get my own opinion, and then maybe
Yeah. I don't know. Just interesting. Okay.
very interesting. I mean, there's always going to be like these polarizing opinions when it comes to political
That's
figures. So.
always, because that's
Yeah,
what politics is. My side versus your side.
I know, I know. So honestly, it's super interesting too to look at like political charts because you have to have like some really polarizing like placements in your
Yeah.
chart and you have to be able to deal with like extreme amounts of love and extreme amounts of hate. So very interesting for their nervous systems, I'm sure. They have to be, or just they just don't care at all. I don't know, but could imagine that I would be like, because I get like sometimes I'll get like 300 comments on TikTok or something, like 60% are negative and the other are positive, and I'm like crashing out. And that's like nothing compared to like what,
What
these like political
yeah,
figures are. Yeah.
yeah, what the influences is, yeah, all of that out there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, did you want to say anything else about that?
No, we can move on.
Okay. So, Mercury is also making an aspect on the next day. It's not going to happen, I think, until later. Like the degrees aren't exact. Um,
Yeah.
like later in the day, but this is on Thursday. We have Mercury moving opposite Chiron. And with this opposition here, I think, we're going to just be highlighted about maybe things that, are painful or in some way like not working. Maybe we felt like with the square earlier, like the day before, maybe we felt like, okay, maybe I can be optimistic about whatever this thing is that I've been overthinking. But then, we kind of take a downturn a little bit and we're like, okay, like I'm feeling a little bit stressed about this thing. Like, can I really be optimistic? Like, or is it something that I need to, be more critical about or more logical about or something? We're really like playing out this, I think, Libra push and pull dynamic, like in the mental sphere.
Yeah, I agree. And the moon too is in this weird little like square with Mars, and it's just past the conjunction with Pluto. So like
Yeah.
there's two things here that signify a wound or like a pain point or like a fear or a doubt. Like sometimes the moon and Pluto highlights your fears and your like worst case scenarios of everything that's happening and the wounds of everything that you're still working through, and then Mars creates that conflict, so that's also happening alongside. Like, yeah, there's just a lot of discussion about how you've been wounded, how things have been painful for you. Chiron in Aries has been a very long-term transit. It's not
Mm.
anything that's new, but each time these Libra planets come up opposite, you get more information about why it's coming up in your life, or like what is coming up that is a pain point for you to work through. I don't think it's a very big aspect in terms of like the grand astrology for this month or this week, but we didn't have a lot going on this week, so I included it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point to talk about. I think too, like with Chiron and Aries, it brings up conversations about like how have I been wounded for like striking out like on my own or like leading things or doing things like my own way. And, like you mentioned, the moon making that square to Mars, it's like, how have I been severed or cut off or rejected or like, um, you know, I honestly, I don't know any other sign that gets as much negative opinions as Scorpio. Like people just are
Right.
extremely opinionated about the Scorpio energy. So it's like, where have the very strong negative opinions of others hurt me in some way?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be like you're having those conversations with somebody that you love or you care about, or yeah, just like, relating in some way, especially with the moon there. It like with the moon coming into play, it's like, how can you see my emotional world and like what I've been through
Yeah,
and
it's
what I've
just
experienced?
maybe sharing what you've been hiding from other people, and alongside of that, or what you've been repressing in terms of like everything that's been going on. And then it's finally coming out, and you're like, no, I need to tell you about this because I'm tired of you acting this way and it's actually hurting me. It's like
Mm-hmm.
maybe actually sharing that part that because Scorpio does keep it under wraps, that you've otherwise hidden
Mm.
from
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Yeah, that's very true too, is that Scorpio energy has a lot of like mystery. They won't necessarily say, or like it doesn't like expose things. It's very secretive. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
just a bit of a pain point this week. Small one, I think, but something to note on that second on Thursday. And yeah, anything else? I'll just move on.
Yeah, no, that's all for that.
Is our last aspect for the week is on Friday, Venus Day, where we get Venus meeting the South Node that night. Uh, the
Virgo.
big kind of, yeah, in Virgo here. So the last kind of really tying out the eclipse energy. Yeah, there's just giving something about this week just because of how quiet it is about wanting to bring healing or resolution or stability back into the picture. As
Mhm.
we talked about how these eclipses are so changeable and they've been changing up so many things. And Venus in Virgo being fallen here isn't able to do a lot, but she's just kind of cleaning everything up as best as she can and bringing things more easy and more comfortable and more stable. So I think it's a big kind of release of that energy and just kind of the final resolution of the eclipse, because this will be what, like over a week past the eclipse now, or about a week, almost 2 weeks past the eclipse. So this will be when we're fully really getting out of it. And I think this will be like the last little bit of it coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, like having Venus kind of swipe through and be like, hey, this is like, maybe it's like you can see that like little glimmer of like, you went through this with the eclipse, but it's not all bad. You know, there are some like
Right.
good pieces about it, or
Or you're
um,
connecting with people deeper over it of what happened.
mhm.
Or you're able to like, okay, my whole closet got destroyed, like metaphorically. So what am I gonna do to make it cleaner and prettier this time around now that I can just have a fresh, clean slate?
That's a really actually interesting one that you brought up. I remember I had this like ex-partner, and it was a woman actually, and she used to like destroy my clothes, like would wear them
Oh
places and
my
like
God.
yeah, like leave them like, and I don't know, just like they got, anyways, my whole closet like got destroyed eventually. And then a lot of my clothes got really moldy too. With like the place we were living in, Asheville, it's like a temperate rainforest there, so it's like pretty
Yeah.
humid. Um, so a lot of my things got moldy and like destroyed. Anyways, at the time I was like, "Oh my God, that sucks so bad." Like I can't believe all my clothes are gone. But after I had like thought of like, took some time to like think about it, I was like, actually, I have an opportunity to like create a whole new wardrobe, which is kind of cool. So
Right.
it's like you might have had like that clearing away during the eclipse, but now you realize like, oh, there's actually this opportunity on the other side of it that I didn't even realize was there. So, I mean, that's, yeah, cool because you might not like otherwise, maybe I would have never revamped my closet. So otherwise, you
Right.
might never like revamp that area of life.
Right. If it's not broke, why fix it? Well, and it finally broke. And now you're finally like, oh, well, now
Yeah.
I can do it better. I can do it different. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's gaslighting to do that. It's more like, this was the situation that had happened. What are you going to do this time now that it's passed? Like, how are you going to make it
Mhm.
better? Like, what are you going to do to clean it up, make it easier? So there's like a big just push to do that with the South Node. Like, okay, let's just accept this and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. I am wondering though how like the South Node meeting Venus might affect like the Venus energy. Like I'm wondering if it might feel like, especially because Venus is in its fall, I'm wondering if Venus might feel like a little bit more debilitated than usual. Like in the Venus ruled houses is what I'm thinking. Like does
Yeah,
it feel
I
like
don't know.
yeah, like is there like a lack of vitality in some way, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Um
probably.
yeah.
Because the South Node is such a drain. It's such a like energetic portal, but like
Mm-hmm.
literally it is in a way in astrology. And so like Venus is being pulled in all these different directions of releasing. So she's probably not gonna be at her strongest at all versus if she was by the North Node, which would be bringing energy into her.
Right, right. Well, I
Otherwise,
would say though, if that does happen and your Venus ruled houses are being asked to like strip away for whatever reason,
yeah,
we do have Venus popping into Libra not too long. So I think like during that era, we will have an opportunity to like refresh.
yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yep.
All
Anything
right.
else?
No, but I think this is it for this week. So much more quieter of a week. It is just all about coming back from the eclipses, restabilizing, and building yourself back up. So that's all we have. If you want more content from us, you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok and YouTube at Two Girls Talk Transits. And we'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.